for Democrats.
All right, wish me luck. Let's go. Let's go. I've still got my blue blockers on. I don't wear glasses, but these are the ones that, if you're working on a computer screen for hours on end, protects your eyes. Arguably, I should probably wear them during the show since I'm doing nothing but staring at screens and a lens. But I feel like I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. So it's all right. Lots going on behind the scenes. Man, it's been a tooth pull the last few days. Thanks for everybody who joined us this morning for the morning show when Serpent ZA and Lao 86 joined us. Winston and Matt, our new friends. Like I said, I've been watching them for a long while, and it was nice to have them. And hopefully we'll have them back when they're other, because we kind of did like a primer and a catch up for people who didn't really know them. And or thought that my theories and attitudes about China were either misplaced or fictional, or I made them up on my own. Which, by the way, so far I haven't let you down on my other opinions. But there's some holdouts. There's a bunch of people who were still in the category of, China's going to eat our lunch and blah blah blah. So I'm glad we got to address some of that today. I got to say. It's pretty direct, pretty head on. So it was good times. Today, at any point, and by the way, this morning when I started the show, I was on this setup again, and then the thing just dropped out and vanished, just died, as you do. and it was really aggravating. And so, what was Jesse Ventura know about the Chinese balloon? That's a fantastic question. I'll have to ask him. So I have dirty knees. I beg your pardon. I'm in my work shirt. You can tell I've been under my desk all day. Hello. I'm like Gary Busey's secretary in the firm. What are you doing, Chip? Are you surfing? Check this out. Hold on. Somebody just decided, hi, you're okay, you're okay, you're okay, you're okay, to surf. Uh-huh. All right. You good there? Hold on. He jumped up onto, hi, buddy. Are you okay? He's very lonely right now. The kittens are gone, by the way. Just so you know. The kittens went to their forever home, the ones we were fostering. Last few days with them were tumultuous, and they stayed an extra week because they got sick, but they got all better, and now they went off to their forever home. And Chip, who was trying to murder them for a good, yes, you, was trying to murder, yes, you were, don't tell me otherwise, who was trying to murder, yes, you did, don't even pretend, don't even front, yo, was trying to chew through their necks, actually, to kill them, because he was like, oh, these are boys, and they will eventually take over the environment, and we cannot have that. All right, so excuse me, little buddy. May I? Thank you. Can I put this out of the way? Thanks. Okay, see you in a little bit. Hey, Siri, scream. So, so needless to say, we have a little bit of empty nest. Luckily, we have a bunch of other sweet cats during that. But yes, Chip was definitely, he was doing those things where he would like jump on top of them. He wanted to play, but he's way too big and they're way too small. And so he would like have them by the neck. And you're like, he thinks he's playing, but like he's very strong. So it would have been bad. So in general, in the beginning, he was that way. He didn't get it. He was new to having them around, and he was, Murphy hated them, but Murphy stays away. Chip hated them, and he was on top of them. And so, but again, I think he was largely playing. He's just too big. So they went to their forever home, and honestly, all the cats are mildly depressed. You can tell. I don't want to anthropomorphize my pets too much, but you can tell they're all like, where'd the little things go? I don't smell them anymore. They're not jumping on my head. Like, it's pretty cute. But they are in a happy home. All's well. And we shall see what we shall see. Let's see 1 second. Let me do one thing real quick, because it's going to drive me crazy, because you're wonderful. You guys can put up with it while I do it. Let's just say hi to the chat room. Let's go full comms with you guys, see if this works. Hi, chat room. Look at you. So, here we go. So, where are you from? What you got going on? Who's your what's it? Let's see. Gonna throw this in here. Whoops. I'm trying to move too quickly with my. There we go. And there we go. And there we go. And I'm like, it's always fun rebuilding your stuff from scratch. Needless to say, the conversation was pretty spot on today, in terms of, the future of China, what they plan on doing, all that kind of stuff, and the illusion, the mythology that they are selling to everybody. And I meant it when I said that they are essentially China is the George Santos of countries. Like, how many lies is it going to? How many lies are they going to tell before you finally go, all right, the next one I'm going to be a little dubious on. I'm going to be a little tap the brakes. Let me think back. Yeah. What can we expect from tomorrow's State of the Union? I hope a bunch of the idiots walk out. I hope they're as un-American and ridiculous as they possibly can be. I'm sure somebody will yell something terrible, or they'll go bullshit when he touts the economic terms, or boo or some nonsense. Honest to God, no amount of hand wringing and gnashing of teeth from that crowd is going to change a fucking thing. And any of it is just going to cause them embarrassment. So the idea that, that we have anything to fear from it, or this is quite honest, like a little bit of just a reality check. Pied should walk in with popcorn. Yeah. Biden is, there's an element of, if they yell like you lie bullshit at him, quite frankly, it is materially different in the impact than it was under Obama because of the strict, Caucasian on Caucasian derision that will come from it. It's a little bit, people tend to get a pass when you're being gross to your own kind. And so any of the people that would yell shit out, are people that was he 20 years younger, he'd take him behind the woodshed. So, again, shrug. Is it going to change the direction of any of the legislation? Is it going to affect the fucking debt ceiling? No. And the noisier they are, and the more embarrassing they are, the more it looks like, okay, so you don't really have a plan. You're not really legislating anything that will help your countrymen at all. You're just there to talk shit. Meanwhile, the dude's up there touting the best jobs record in the history of presidents. So, and again, it's interesting that there's a bunch of elements of the economic stuff that both post 2008 and during the first couple of years of Biden, that because we're kind of getting through it, I mean, there may be a bump ahead that has nothing to do with COVID or whatever, but we're crawling fairly successfully out of this ditch versus other people. Because of that, there's a tendency to look back at the last 2 years and say, well, it was going to happen anyways. It fucking well was not. Any more than the 2009 recovery in 2010 was guaranteed either. Why do you think Hank Paulson was in fucking flop sweat? So there's this tendency to like fall back on everything's gonna be fine. I don't know what the fuck it is. You know what? If we were in there, it would just be fine sooner. How? Because it would. It's just it's stupid. Anyway, speaking of stupid. There you go. There he is. Welcome. Hold on. You can't. This is my show. Get in your box. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, our great collective balloon nightmare is now over. The balloon, which of course was full of anthrax, candy, Huawei phones, and lithium and COVID-23, fell into the sea where the salt water under the providence of the Lord has made it inert. And we can now return to our state of abnormal. President Trump, this is fun. President Trump on increased Chinese aggression and espionage. Now, I have not watched this. And it is only a couple of minutes long. So let's not hold our breath and expect it to be anything, game changing. But what I will say before we even look at this shit is that it'll be absurd. But also that he's in a bit of a pickle in terms of, like, with Russia, he can say there never would have been a Ukraine war, which is, for the record, bullshit. They were planning this for 2021 if he won. When he lost, they were like, well, maybe he'll wreck the country and we can do it while they're fucked up during the, if January 6th can push 20, nobody will be behind the wheel as of the 21st and we could do it then, but probably won't happen. So they had to push a year. That's effectively what happened. They couldn't just do it in the summer because of the cycle of fighting, blah, blah, blah. So they were, they missed their window because this fucker was no longer there to constantly throw them bones. Because it wasn't so much that they needed him in there to start it, but ongoing, if they swung and missed at Kiev in the first 2 weeks and Biden ended up taking over and went, Joint Chiefs, come here, throw some shit at that, like it would have happened and that they'd be fucked. Much like they are now, but even faster. So, Trump, but because it's a known unknown, it's an impossible, it's an unfalsifiable statement. Nobody can, nobody can prove that it did or didn't happen, would or wouldn't happen, except for his ego and his total lack of details, which I think is reasonable as a reason to call bullshit on this. But he can't do the same with Chinese stuff. The increased Chinese aggression and espionage on the country, because post-COVID and his relationship, he had a great relationship with Xi, and then it went to shit, and he doesn't feel the same way, and they just, honest to God, Xi hangs up first, and it's always difficult. It's not the same as it ever was. This is not my Trump Tower Beijing. This is not my son Eric. All right. So he actually can't just say, if I was president, they wouldn't do this shit. He probably will try to, but that's like, why? You obviously think they disrespected you with COVID, right? Yeah, that kind of shit. Anyways, so he can't just go the Ukraine war would have never happened if I was a... Yeah, so, but let's see if he tries. I'm very curious. He cranks out 3 of these a day, and they just, roll them out. Like, at some point, somebody's going to start posting the outtakes, and it's going to be fucking gorgeous. This one, by the way, this video is 2 minutes and 29 seconds long and starts with a frosty picture of the Great Wall of China. It's an interesting choice. I guess, well, the Chinese built a wall, so where's our wall is definitely it. Also, he was very impressed by the wall and thought, if I could build the Great Wall of Trump, they'll call it the Great Wall. The Great Slat Fence of Trump. And then, I suppose, what other options does he have? Pictures of him and Xi Jinping shaking hands, pictures of him and Xi Jinping having dinner, pictures of Ivanka and Xi Jinping signing documents about trademarks. What do you do? So
it's rarely even mentioned that China has many thousands of spies working in the United States and...
Yes, we don't talk about it. They all arrived on the 22nd of January, 2021. It was the biggest spygration in the history of mankind. I didn't talk about it. They were on thousands of them all over the country, but I heard about it on day fucking 2. I took the oath. They went, by the way, right after golf, we have to do the PDB. And there's thousands of Chinese spies. And I was like, are any of them hot? All right.
Business, finance, academia, technology, media, and likely even government, very sadly.
Very, very sadly. Yes, there might be a comptroller of Chinese descent out there who's a 4th generation American, but, it's hard to tell. It's really sad that of all the places they would weasel into government. Oh, the video sound is low. I will try and bring it up if I can. All right, let's see over here. I appreciate you guys telling me. We'll see what we can do. System is up. System is this. Check it to check. I will see what I can do. It's just his video. Sorry.
As president, I established a special initiative at the Department of Justice tasked with the sole mission of targeting Chinese espionage in the United States.
Yes, because no other president has been concerned with Chinese espionage in the United States. By the way, what he means is, the task group that's in charge of that, the new president has to sign off on it every time. I created a thing that's been going on for 26 years. That's been in there since Reagan, and I signed it again, so I invented it.
Joe Biden terminated that program right away.
Oh, terrible. He terminated.
Suggesting that it was somehow racist. According...
Oh, I see. He thinks the schooling thing was racist. Hold on one second. Hold on. Let's see. Biden, Trump China espionage thing, whatever. Biden mentioned on a brief, let's see, a brief Trump officials. Okay. Officer brief Trump officials on past spy balloon. Oh, that's funny. Hold on. White House improved surveillance, caught Chinese balloon. Wait till I show you the other the other one that came up right before this. U.S. officials said Monday that improvements ordered by President Joe Biden to strengthen defenses against Chinese espionage helped to identify last week's spy balloon and to determine the similar flights were conducted at multiple points during the Trump administration. We'll open that in a link in a new tab. White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said that after Biden took office, the U.S. enhanced our surveillance of our territorial airspace. We enhanced our capacity to be able to detect things that the Trump administration was unable to detect because they had a bad case of don't give a fuck. It was golf interference. Biden in turn has been in turn has been faulted for not shooting it down sooner. Right, once it came over the United States from Canada, I told the Defense Department I want to shoot it down as soon as was appropriate. The military concluded we should not shoot it down over land. It was not a serious threat. In a brief exchange with reporters, he told this. He goes, Biden expressed his continued displeasure with Beijing, asked why China launched the balloon over the U.S. He replied simply, because they're the Chinese. Like, that's it. Yeah. If you watch today's show, this morning show, you'll know that, yes, it's that simple. Sullivan, speaking at an event hosted by U.S. Global Leadership Coalition, said as a part of the surveillance improvements since Biden took office, we were able to go back and look at the historical patterns and uncover multiple instances during the Trump administration in which Chinese surveillance balloons traversed American airspace and territory. Several Trump administration officials said they didn't learn of Chinese spy balloons during their tenures. But he knows more than the generals about everything, doesn't he? Wouldn't he have known to look right away? Why would Biden, Beijing Biden, come into office and tell him, look a little harder? Because I think they're trying to fuck with us. I will tell you that we did not detect those threats, and that's a domain awareness that we have to figure out, he said of the U.S. intel. After the fact, informed his command about the balloons. Sullivan did not explain why what specifically allowed them. Well, why would he? Sullivan did not exactly pinpoint the towers and systems used and the frequencies that they use to detect certain things, and did not give away the source code on the computers that operated the environments. We will press him on that later because America has the right to know. Right. The payload itself, I would categorize that as a jet airliner type of size, maybe a regional jet. Yeah, not even a full jumbo. So sad. Probably weighed in excess of a couple thousand pounds. They were still piecing through which Chinese officials knew what about the balloon and would not speak publicly yet about the. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Blah blah blah. Okay. Now check this out. I want to show you the first thing that came up when I googled it. This is just fucking with him. Biden administration offers to brief Trump officials on past Chinese spy balloon incursions. Officials in the last administration denied that the airships had flown over the U.S. on their watch. The Biden administration is willing to brief former Trump officials on new. Yeah, Trump, you want to come on in? You want to sit it down at the table and be a guest? Sit across from the table, and Biden will tell you what you missed while you were in office and how you fucked it up. All right. On newly discovered intelligence, China sent spy balloons into U.S. airspace during their time in charge. The offer, described by senior Biden administration officials on Sunday night, comes as former President Donald Trump and senior members of his national security team say they were never briefed on such incursions by a Beijing-sent aircraft. This information was discovered after the prior administration left. The intelligence community is prepared to offer key officials from the Trump administration briefings on China's surveillance programs, one of the officials said. So again, this goes into, how was I supposed to know? I was only president, and I know everything. Again, this is kind of like why I make fun of when he fucks up words versus when Biden does it, because A, Biden has a stutter, has had it for his whole life, and B, Biden has never said, I'm the greatest speaker that's ever existed on fucking planet Earth, and you assholes are just mad because you can't understand my extraordinary vocabulary. That's the kind of shit Trump says. And when you walk that kind of fucking plank, you deserve that kind of fucking pushback. Yeah? You get me? Okay. Don't like this isn't about him even as a person. It's about fucking that kind of ego. You claim perfection, you better roll that shit out, man.
To publish reports, this came shortly after 160 faculty members of the University of Pennsylvania, where I went to school, the
Wharton School
of Finance.
Yes, where they, I guess, teach you to be a debt queen or king or monster, whatever the phrase is.
Home of the now infamous Biden Center.
Yeah, it's weird. So there's no Trump Center? They didn't offer to, you went to school there? There's no Wharton Trump Center for Business? I would have thought they would have brought that up after the second book, you know? Use them as textbooks. What the fuck? You get the feeling that all this shit's really about Trump's being mad that he doesn't even have a locked closet at Penn. Welcome to the Donald Trump Wharton School of Business, or as I like to call it, Trump University. Now is where'd everybody go? Where'd they go? Why is all I hear are crickets? We're teaching crickets. Okay, so
wrote to Merrick Garland
and
demanded that the Chinese espionage initiative be shut down immediately. Congress needs to dig deep into the financial.
Yes, why did Biden allow the scourge of Chinese balloons to infiltrate the dorms, fraternities, sororities, and classrooms of our greatest institutions? Did you ever get the idea? You ever think that maybe when you start pointing where the spies are, the spies don't just disappear, they go someplace else. And if you set up a program specifically targeting them that they know about, they shift to something else. So maybe you have the program, but you don't announce it. That's most counter spy endeavors don't involve bumper stickers. You dizzy fuck. Also, what the fuck does this have to do with a balloon? I walked onto a campus mostly to pretend I learned something, and I saw balloons. Yeah, birthday party? Sure, but still, it's a giant Mylar attack.
Operations of the University of Pennsylvania, its Chinese donors, the Biden Center, and the Biden family, and figure out what the hell is going on.
Yes, why did the balloon landed at the Penn at the Biden Center where it used to be and refueled before taking off again? This is. First of all, what the hell is going on? He shut the office down, and interestingly enough, one of the reasons why he might be shutting it down is because of the Chinese money that the Penn Center took. Now, you're not offering to give back your Wharton diploma because of Chinese influence at Penn. Why not? It's a curious thing.
As president, I took the most dramatic action of any administration to curtail China's ability to conduct espionage in the United States. And
there were like multiple of these balloons and they never even saw them. Also, he's had, like, he literally posed, hold on, with multiple Chinese spies at Mar-a-Lago. Hold on. Yeah. By the way, for all of those people who are like, he put it in a room with a lock on it. Remember this? The arrest of a woman carrying a USB stick with malware into Mar-a-Lago exposes glaring flaws in the resort security as FBI reportedly investigates whether she was a Chinese spy. No, thank you. A woman was able to bluff her way into Mar-a-Lago on Saturday, which, by the way, that never stopped. Just look at the Anna de Rothschild, Yashishin woman. That's what she did. She just rented a fancy car, rolled up and said, I'm a member, and just fucking rolled in. Zhang Yujing passed Secret Service physical checks and proceeded into the property because Mar-a-Lago staff mistakenly thought she was the daughter of a member who shared her last name. Because Chinese names. Fuck me. The FBI is now reportedly investigating whether she is a Chinese spy. I did all kinds of things as soon as I showed up, almost 3 years into my presidency. Hold on one second. I'm just going to copy that. Hold on. Yeah, here we go. 2021. There you go. And what happened to her? She did 8 months, and then she was deported back to China. Mar-a-Lago trespasser deported to China 2 years later. A Chinese businesswoman convicted of trespassing at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago club and lying to Secret Service agents was reported over the weekend. More than 2 years after serving her sentence, Zhang Yujing was turned over to immigration officials on December 2019 after serving her 8-month sentence, but she was held at the Glades County Detention Center for 3 times as long as her prison term, mainly because of deportation delays during the COVID-19 epidemic. They didn't want her back. At the time of her sentencing, she was 33. She went to meet the president and family and just make friends. I buy it. Sure. Why not? And she wasn't deported until Biden took office.
When I'm back in the White House, those efforts.
Yeah, you won't. Unless you want to go for that briefing. This asshole is never being president again. It's not gonna fucking happen. Like, don't even go like, but what if, can you imagine? But don't even fucking bother. Worry is weaponized imagination. It's an attack on your nervous system. Don't pick up any worry bombs laying on the street.
Will be expanded in a very, very big way.
They're gonna be expanded in a huge way. No balloons allowed on U.S. campuses, and anybody with a Chinese tattoo, unless it's a tramp stamp that I get to inspect personally, is allowed anywhere near.
Instead of hunting down Republicans, a reformed FBI and Justice Department will be hunting down Chinese spies.
Okay, first of all, hunt's a pretty heavy word. Hunting, it sounds like, reminds me of 9 to 5 or a fox hunt. They're not hunting Republicans. They are finding them at the end of discovery of a crime. The same thing is true in the case in spies, like the FBI in particular. Like, we have counterintelligence in Homeland Security and the like. The FBI helps with that, but it's not even the primary.
We will create new partnerships with businesses and universities
in China,
give them the tools to protect themselves from insider threats.
Here's my new pamphlet, How to Be Suspicious of Asian-Looking People. Now, they don't, for the record, have to be Asian. They can have kind of a Charles Bronson, David Carradine thing about them, where you're pretty sure they're not Asian, but you don't want to be wrong. You don't want to be wrong. So chapter 2, how to make your head automatically cock to the side anytime someone with jet black hair walks into the... I like that one a lot. Chapter 3, what the fuck? The tools.
We will also...
By the way, the Chinese were operating fake police stations, like on American soil during his presidency. You didn't fucking know.
So impose whatever visa sanctions and travel restrictions are necessary to shut off Chinese access to American secrets in compliance with our demands and in compliance with our laws.
With our demands. Okay. Stop with the carbs, because you're killing me. Wang. It's the it's the noodles. They're fucking up my gut. That I first of all demand. Secondly, I demand another bowl because that was scrumptious. Our demands. Oh, I love when he has to add a word to sound tough. Wait, run that by me again.
Are necessary to shut off Chinese access to American secrets.
Yes, there will be no spy visas given out at all. For once, yes. What are you here for? Business or pleasure? Spying. Mostly industrial. Yeah, I gotta look at a pork plant and see if there's a way we can, undermine it financially, through the markets and then buy it and stuff. That's part. But that's more of like honest to God, it's a hobby. It's not even part of my assignment. But definitely, no. I'm heading to the Horton School, to get more compromise on the former president. In case he does win again, we need to have some pretty tight strings because we thought we had Biden by the short and curlies. I got to tell you that. We gave him $1 billion and here he is fucking us. It's the worst pegging of our lives. And honest to God, it's just rough. So anyways, we normally do this with a satellite, but we don't have any anymore. They all fell out of the sky because we can't service them because we don't have a space industry. But anyways, which door do I go through? Just the one marked Gitmo. Thank you. Thanks very much. So, what? TOH Show Live. Thank you so much for the gifted subs.
In compliance with our demands and in compliance with our laws,
Drop the secrets and step away from the library. You have 20 seconds to comply. I'm sending Ed 209 with Asian eye seeking AI built in. Anybody who's high on dope and is squinting is going to get fucked up too. Fair warning. And Jesus, what a prick.
FBI even recently admitted that China operates a secret police force on American soil. How do you like that one?
How do you like that one? How do you like that? Do you mean the thing? The audio is still quiet. It's just the nature of it. Let's see what I can do. I will see what I can do. Give me 1 second. This is going to cause me trouble, and I know it. Let's see. Elgato EQ. Let's go with this, and I'll see if I can...
Imposing the iron fist of the Communist Party, the rule, think of this, the Communist Party rule on Chinese nationals in the United States.
Hold on. How about this? I'm gonna bring me down a little bit, and you guys can bring your whole mix up a touch, and that might help. And we'll both, so just raise your overall volume. Perhaps that will help us. I'll also bring it up here so that we're closer in that. Hopefully this will help. The other videos are going to be loud as fuck too.
States. Just think about that.
Oh my God. Hold on. All right. Since it's there, I'm going to punch up a little gain and I'm going to go. I'm not scared of this thing, you bastard. Hold on. Delete. Take that out. Yes. Here. I'll just add a little gain to this sucker. Filters. Edit filters. Gain. Turn that gain on. Hey, there we go. Should be a little bit in there, let's say. Yeah, I'll do a little punch up. How about that? Bring the punch. Yeah, that should do something. And I'll tail mine. Okay, then we'll see if we can get the mix a little even. Let me know when it's tolerable.
Espionage in the United States. And when I'm back in the White House, those efforts will be expanded in a very, very big way. Instead of hunting down Republicans, a reformed FBI...
There you go. And check. I'm going to bring mine. There we go. That should be a little closer to even. Yeah? Something like that. I hope so. Yeah. So, and again, pardon me if the other videos we play today are fucked up. I'm still rebuilding this thing on the fly. So, and also, by the way, you're watching HAL SPARKS Mega Worldwide. Hi, welcome. Glad you could be here. You having fun? Me too.
FBI and Justice Department will be hunting down Chinese spies.
Yes. Wascoey ones. Shh. Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting for Twumpies. All right.
We will create new partnerships with businesses and universities to give them the tools to protect themselves from insider threats. We will also impose whatever visa sanctions and travel restrictions are necessary to shut off Chinese access to American secrets in compliance with our demands and in compliance with our laws.
Again, what do you mean we'll shut off access in compliance with our demands? I'm seriously racking my brain here. Walk through this with me. I think where he's going is the demands he's talking about would be made of businesses and schools from the government that they weed out these weed out Chinese dissidents. That's not the demands, and the laws aren't about China per se. They're about the institutions, the businesses. Because somebody else wrote this. Oi. He doesn't even, I don't even think he knows what it means. I honestly don't think he knows what that sentence means.
The FBI even recently admitted that China operates a secret police force on American soil. How do you like that one? Imposing the iron fist of the Communist Party. The rule, think of this.
Yes, the rule. Think of this. The word I left out. The iron fist rule, the ruling iron fist of the Chinese Communist Party. What he just he blazed past a word. Hold on. Oh, I gotta put this over here. Beg your pardon.
Secret police force on American soil. How do you like that one?
Like that?
Imposing the iron fist of the Communist Party. The rule, think of this. The Communist Party rule on Chinese.
Okay, the iron fist Communist Party rule on the Chinese citizens. I thought this was just the threat of fisting. And I gotta say, that's, first of all, I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum, but I don't get it. Secondly, you can back out of that endeavor pretty early. You know what I mean? There's nobody who went, wait a minute, is that the whole fist? You know what I mean? Like, at some point, you know what I mean? Like, that's one of those things that doesn't sneak up on you, you know? That's not the shocker. That's shocking.
These nationals in the United States. Just think about that.
I thought about it. By the way, just think about it. Think about this for a second. It is a way of giving emphasis to a part of the speech you just fucked up. So if you want to take a break and you're reading and the audience knows you're reading, what you do is you go, and this is the kind of habit that, think of this. This is the kind of habit that blah, 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 blah. Like, see what I mean? Like, you can buy yourself some time to get your shit together, and then he does it again immediately. He did two of those saves in under 3 sentences.
We will shut that down, and we will shut it down cold. Thank you very much.
We'll shut it down cold. That's right. Which means what? Because, all right, shut it down fast. He always says fast, so he probably nixed fast. But cold is like cold-blooded. So we'll chop it off as soon as we chop off the head of the snake, cold-blooded, right as soon as we see it happen. And that's that. We're going to chop it off cold. He's been saying cold a lot lately. He's getting old, and he's entering his sweater years. And so stone cold crazy. House Sparks, I'm going to have to hold you personally responsible for every extra brain cell I lose as a psychological response to being exposed to this asshole. All right, first of all, I want you to, anybody that gets upset by the sound of this asshole's voice or his stupid face, I want you to look at him like a spitting image doll or a ventriloquist dummy from now on, because that is the entirety of the impact he's going to have on your life. Even his followers are going, totally. what the fuck? I don't know. Like, so, um, you are in the process of watching this hard fade. Okay? You are, and just enjoy it. Just go, this asshole, like, most of the time his world is crashing around him. And then occasionally he gets what he thinks is a glimmer of sunlight, and it turns out to be a Jewish space laser. And he's like, his entire life is nightmare fuel right now. There's a monster around every corner. There's a gargoyle in every jungle, in the forest around him. Nobody can be trusted. Even the people that anybody who says to him, totally, yeah, I agree. He's like, what a fucking sucker. I don't even know what I'm saying. And you're nodding. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, part of his brain literally rejects compliments at this point because he can't believe it. He doesn't believe it because, again, he's not a true narcissist. He's got low self-esteem and he takes it out on everyone, and he uses, rooster feathers to try and hide behind. Jesus. Thank you very much. And scene. Yeah, that's it. So, and then they put the little graphic up so he can sell some shit. By the way, you're watching HAL SPARKS Mega Worldwide. I'm rebuilding my set from scratch, and I'm very happy you guys could be here with me. And it seems to be working okay. We fixed a couple audio issues. We're limping through. Can we, because of that, can we go back to an oldie but a dummy, a favorite and a disappointment at the same time? There are few people that we encounter that have the reading comprehension of a lab mouse with electrodes intentionally making it confused, just zapping it with confusion every time it tries to eat or move or think or make a decision. Like you would have to concoct. It was like he was grown in a lab just to read something and say it says the exact opposite of what's in front of him. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a man who has a show called Unfiltered, that most of the time in the opening monologue, he complains about not being able to swear. I wish I could say what I want to say on a show called Unfiltered. Is it predictably stupid? Sure. Is it an ongoing gag he seems not to have woken up to? Mm-hmm. Have they thought about changing the name to just Bongholio Unchained? I just think it'll work. So, all right. This is Dan Bongholio, and he is China's been giving us the double-barreled middle finger for a while. Apparently, he's not going to. By the way, and if you're going to get all excited that he's going to do this, like I would, Did you clip that? All right. That if you're going to get all upset about him, you have to remember it's a heavily filtered show called Unfiltered. Yeah, they'd have to blur it out, or he can't do it. Maybe he's doing it under the desk, like the true hero of free speech that he is. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Bongholio's attempt to explain China to us. And you have to understand, this is in the context of this morning show where I was talking to the guys from the China show, guys who lived there 14 and 10 years apiece, respectively. I, myself, traveling there, speaking the language multiple times. This dickhead's going to tell us all what's up. Let's see it. Macho fucking song, just like a wrestler, big old dong, bongino, Bongholio. Oh, it's an alert. Balloon watch.
So let me tell you, if I don't look too well put together tonight, it's not like I'm not a style maven or anything. I'm just...
So you are a style maven. They called him in because nobody else wanted to cover this shit.
Just 36 hours out of surgery. But I really needed to talk to you tonight about this China balloon.
Okay, first of all, 36 hours out of surgery. First of all, well, we know one thing is Let me say right out of the right on the front of this, the man is, I believe, married and has children. So I wish him genuinely a speedy and healthy recovery from whatever surgery he had. No jokes, all honesty. There's a line we never cross with people's health about stuff, and clearly they didn't install a brain. So it won't mess with my livelihood at all. Spies like us, fuck you.
Balloon story, because I was watching it on the hospital TV, and it got me thinking, like, China's been giving us the double-barrel middle finger for a long time. So
You mean what? Did they have COVID under their nails? What do you mean?
I need to get on the air stat tonight and talk to you about this story because I can't let this go.
No, they made you come to work. Otherwise, you'd be well prepared. You'd go, I don't feel so good because I just had surgery, and it's going to be a little slow on the drag. So I'll get in a little bit early, but I really want to talk about this. Fox made him go back to work 36 hours after he had surgery because he's contracted to do so. He tried to get out of his show. That's in IMHO.
And I'm going to take a little bit of a...
Oh, is he super loud? Yeah, that's, I told you that's what happened. Sorry.
Contrarian view here, because Dan Bongino, and yes, I'm going to talk about myself in the third person, Bob Dole style. I've got some questions here.
Yes, well, you certainly don't have answers, so at least it's, we're par for the course.
Here's my first question about this story. The China balloon story. Hey, listen, I'm only...
By the way, I hope he realizes there's a video being played next to him of it being shot out of the sky, falling into the ocean, where it will be retrieved by U.S. forces, by the National Guard, by the Coast Guard, and some of our military.
This is like laughter out of uncomfortability. Like, I laugh sometimes I'm getting a blood draw because I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to laugh or I'm going to cry.
From a blood draw? Honest to God, I what happened to these snowflakes? A blood draw?
I can't believe this actually happened, right?
Why? Why can't you believe it happened? You can't believe the Chinese would try such a thing? You can't believe we would see it? You can't believe we would wait till it was out over the ocean to shoot it out of the sky so it doesn't fucking land on somebody, or God forbid on some property that's owned by a foreign LLC and because of maritime law gets to keep the fucking thing and sell it back to China?
So China, they seem to have chosen the most low-tech spying mechanism possible to humiliate the United States. A balloon.
I see. They chose to use a balloon, not because their satellites are fucked up or because everybody uses balloons, or because Bongholio thinks that all balloons are created equal, or that his head is a balloon, or they did it just to pick on him because his head is a balloon.
So when my grandmother took me to the zoo...
Oh, fucking hell. Please tell me she bought him 1,000 balloons and tied his finger to it and he ended up in Toledo.
When I was a kid with my grandfather, I got...
Maybe she was getting the balloon for your grandfather. Did you ever think about that?
Not a balloon.
Maybe there was something going on between the two of them. It was a tiff.
It's the same technology China's flying over the United States. Just to be clear, over sensitive nuclear facilities on the cusp of a major meeting between the two countries. Does any of this make sense to you? Because seriously, I have some questions here. I'm kind of crowdsourcing for the audience.
Yeah. No. We all understand. There is no possible way that your smooth brain can contemplate any of the details involved in this. You still think it's a party balloon instead of a weather balloon. You think that the pressure on a regular rubber balloon, like when you lose a balloon, he thinks it goes to fucking space. He thinks like when we get to the moon, it's going to be littered with Mylar birthday balloons that were sucked into its gravity over decades. Shit. And this, you have to understand too, this has been after we've all gotten like a master class in why balloons for the last fucking week. And everybody's like, why not a satellite? Because on a lower atmosphere thing, you can get an angle that you can't get with a satellite, because something that's directly over top of something like this won't see this part and this part. And if you want it to, you have to retask it. And because the Earth and the atmosphere move at the same rate, it's a lot of work. A balloon, on the other hand, drifts by it. So you can take see the pictures you can take of it. That's the idea. Okay. Even as high as, 60 to 100,000 feet in the air. The reality is, more than likely, either by accident, by miscalculation, or by our own actions, when it passed over Alaska, it lost altitude and we could see it.
So right before this major diplomatic meeting, where Tony Blinken, our Secretary of State, by the way, is supposed to meet Xi Jinping, it's a pretty monumental thing. China picks a freaking balloon to fly over? Not their version of a SR-71 or whatever it is, Blackbird.
Because they don't have an SR-71 Blackbird. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take your Chinese spies and go to pen. They don't have one. They don't have the technology we have. They have spy satellites, and they suck. Here's the issue. This all comes from everything we're watching here. It goes to, again, what we were talking about this morning with the Serpent ZA and Lao I-86. This illusion that China is like hyper technologically advanced, and oh my God, look out Seoul, South Korea, look out Tokyo, Japan. There's a new kid on the block, and they got all the tech toys because they've stolen all of it, and they understand it better than anybody because they built it themselves and blah blah blah. Even after they stole it, they de-engineered it, and so they must have cloaking devices by now. They don't have any of that shit. For all we know, this is literally the top of their technology as far as of spy satellites that's still available. Hold on. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Hey, you want to see why? You want to know why they used a balloon? You want me to tell you? You want me to, I'll explain it for Bongholio and anybody in the cheap seats. There's multiple versions of this, but this will basically sum it up. Debris from another, very important word, another Chinese satellite launch fell uncontrolled back to Earth. November 7th, 2022. A rocket the size of a 10-story building tumbled out of the sky on Friday and splashed into the Pacific Ocean. The debris didn't cause any casualties, but the rocket's uncontrolled descent was no accident. The Chinese rocket booster was designed to fall to Earth after propelling a piece of China's space station into orbit, NASA Administrator Bill Nelson said in a statement. There we go. Hello. So this is the fourth time debris from a Chinese rocket has crashed down to Earth. Several years ago, chunks hit villages in West Africa, causing property damage but no casualties. Yeah, so here's the other one. There's... Oh, quit it. There we go. This one. Where's... that was just... Let's see. Chinese... Debris from Chinese space rocket crashing down towards Earth. The Tiangong Chinese crash. Here's the... Remember the space station? Whoops, hold on one second. The Tiangong 1 crash, Chinese space station comes down the Pacific Ocean. Remember, everybody was like, what do you mean you don't know where it's going to fucking land? They are... there's a series, and those, by the way, those are the rocket systems that get their capsule up, but the capsule itself isn't deploying properly. That's the other story. So that was what I was looking for when all these other ones came out. Because there's so space debris, Chinese space debris crashes down in the Philippines. That was okay, November 4th. Chinese rocket has crashed back to Earth. November 4th, 2022. There you go. First space, here we go. Chinese rocket booster crashes back to Earth. Rocket debris from Chinese space station. Mission to crash land. This is, yeah, there you go. Boom. No, I gotta reload the pages or whatever. But debris from Chinese rocket crashes back to Earth. China reckless rocket crash is a stark reminder of China's falling space station highlights the problem of space. This is 2018. Uncontrolled debris from Chinese space rocket crashing to Earth. Like, does anybody believe they are doing the calculations necessary to get satellites up that stay there and work? They're using balloons because they have to.
Or anything? No, a balloon that we can all see.
Yeah, normally you can't, fucko, because they're at 100,000 feet. You can see this one because it came down to about 66,000 feet. The rest of the time, it's white and you might think it's part of a cloud. Derp.
Anybody thinking to themselves, something here doesn't make sense?
No. No. And the only reason it wouldn't make sense to you is because you either intentionally leave out data in your comprehension of something, or you fabricate the lack of that data from your expression of your story, which it's hard to tell with Bongholio because I genuinely think he's this fucking dumb.
Because it brings me to question 2.
Where am I? Are you my mother?
What particular capability is China demonstrating here? If this is some kind.
You know what capability they're demonstrating? Incapability. They are incapable of flying a spy balloon over the United States anymore, it would seem, without it being seen. Everything has to be either a flex or an act of war with these fuckheads. Like, he can't comprehend this just being an attempt, an attempt on their part to just get angles on stuff that they could float over or do some peekaboo radio receiving.
Kind of message. We can fly balloons.
No, they're not sending a message, dummy. Spies don't send messages. Spying doesn't send messages. It's contrary to the entire point of fucking spying. What kind of message is my girlfriend sending me by secretly going through my phone and whispering about me behind my back? That you weren't supposed to know she was going through your phone and whispering about you behind your back? What the shit? Fuck.
Balloons? Look at us. We figured out helium. What particular capability are they demonstrating?
Ask someone before you come on the air, you fucking turd.
Am I missing a portion of this story?
Yes, you are missing a mission. You are missionarying. You are missing a portion of your fucking cranium.
Story?
Yes, you are. Perhaps it was because you were in the hospital. Again, I wish you a speedy recovery. And the next time you're in there, don't choose the jar that says Abby Normal.
Let me get to the third part, because maybe it'll make sense and why.
I don't have a lot of hope. I'm a very optimistic guy. I don't think so.
I have some questions and why I had to jump on here tonight and make sure I spoke to you about that.
First of all, you're not speaking to us. You're speaking at us. It's the nature of rhetorical programming. Does this fucker think this is a chat? Jesus, I have a chat and it's hard to watch. He's in a studio at Fox.
Because I'm hearing a lot of commentary on this. And I think a lot of
none of it about the technical implications of spy balloons, why they are used. None of it that details the fact that some of these happened during the Trump administration and they either didn't give a fuck or didn't bother to look or didn't even think to worry.
It's a little bit off base because why would China sabotage its own diplomatic efforts in a major meeting between the United States, Tony Blinken, and Xi, just days away with a balloon?
Well, they didn't. That wasn't the intention, clearly. If anything, it was relatively unrelated. It's just part of an ongoing spy mission they have. And they probably got dozens of these fucking things all over a bunch of different countries. One was discovered over Latin America. There was another one over Canada. So it wouldn't be surprising if they're all over Russia and places like that, just where nobody's looking and nobody gives a shit. I'm sure the EU is looking right now. What do you want to bet? We're going to hear about an EU China balloon in a little while if the wind permits. But where was I? Hold on. So you had a
Tony Blinken and Xi.
Oh, right. Why would they fuck up the thing? Okay. First of all, they didn't think they'd be caught. They didn't think it would fuck with the meeting at all. You know why? Because they did it multiple times during the Trump administration and nobody saw the fucking thing. Nobody looked. Nobody knew. Everybody in the Trump administration is going, I never heard anything about that. And the Biden administration is going, yeah, we upped our surveillance when we came into office because we were worried about some shit. And lo and behold, here comes one.
Just days away with a balloon. Well, let me give you a likely answer because it'd be kind of weird to come on here, right, and propose a bunch of questions without answers. I mean, they don't pay me to just dump questions on you.
Well, I almost wish they would because your answers are the only thing worse than your questions. Oh boy. All right, kids. Let's dig in. It's dig your heels in, grab onto the rope in the dipshit tug of war. He's definitely a ringer, and he's at the back of the rope, and he's going to give it a lurch right in a couple of seconds. So get ready.
Here's a likely answer. China's been playing us for chumps for decades, folks. As I opened up this segment with, they've been flipping us the double-barreled middle finger for a long time now.
No, they haven't. Flipping you the double-barreled middle finger would be an overt offensive act. The exact opposite has been true for decades with China. They have been using, BS diplomacy and honeypots and guanxi and greasing everywhere they go to try and, win people over. Oh, yeah, we're great. Which is the opposite of giving you the double barrel middle finger, by the way. Ask Trump, if they've been giving it to us for decades, why was he praising Xi non-fucking stop?
They've been in our universities with these Confucius Institutes. They've been infiltrating our businesses. They've been stealing our IP, our intellectual property overseas. They've been using government procurement methods to lock out foreigners from their own markets. They've had spy operations. They've even, I don't know if you saw the story a few weeks back, they even set up their version of like their own local police force right here in the United States.
Weird. It's almost like he's finally, bringing up details that I've been talking about for fucking years. But meanwhile, if I may, let's see.
Mr. President, you mentioned the drop of spread in China coronavirus cases. Is the U.S. government considering evaluating similar measures in the U.S. in case the situation gets
Some
worse?
measures, we've been in very close contact with China, including myself with President Xi. He very much wanted this to happen. He wanted this to get out and finished and be done. He's been working very, very hard, I can tell you that. And they're making a lot of progress in China. You probably saw Starbucks are now opened again. You probably saw that, as I mentioned, Tim just came out and he said Apple is back to normal in terms of production in their facilities in China. They've made a lot of progress.
Great stuff. By the way, that's from this. You know what site that's from? CCTV, the Chinese media. They're the ones who posted that one. Let me run back to here. Let's see.
And China has lost 20, 25, $30 trillion in worth.
We're now almost double the size of the economy. If I hadn't won, our economy now would have been overtaken by China. And all these clowns that are sitting on television,
By the way, bullshit.
that have been running this government for many years, that have been taken to the cleaners by China, they're all sitting there saying, well, I don't think the president is negotiating properly. They don't know what they're talking about. I have great respect for the fact that China called, they want to make a deal. I have great respect. And I have great respect for President Xi. And I think we're going to have a deal because now we're dealing on proper terms. They understand and we understand. But that's a great thing that happened. And they want to get something done. Now, maybe it won't get done, but this is the first time I've seen them where they really do want to make a deal. And I think that's a very positive step.
That, by the way, that deal never happened. I mean, they bought a bunch of food, but nowhere near the amount. Let's see. Here you go.
I spoke with President Xi. We had a great talk. He's working very hard, I have to say. He's working very, very hard. And if you can count on the reports coming out of China, that spread has gone down quite a bit. The infection seems to have come down over the last 2 days.
Trump on Wednesday put his second-in-command, Mike Pence, in charge of...
Nope. By the way, that's CGTN. That's the other Chinese network. They pulled those clips. If you want to find a bunch of clips of Trump praising China, they're all over Chinese media. They've got the biggest collection on the fucking web. Let's see. Let's see what's that.
President Trump, are you satisfied with how far the proposed WTO reforms will go? Because
No,
you have
I'm not,
You
but-
have spoken about the need for that. And second to that,
We're getting there, John. Just to answer that, we're
second to
getting
that,
there.
do you believe that China is sincere about what it said this morning?
Yes.
Or do you think that they are just trying to calm the markets and play for time? Because our sister network, the Fox Business Network, has been told by Chinese sources that they have no plans on going back to where they were in terms of the negotiations this spring on intellectual property, forced technology transfer, ownership. So,
Yeah. So Fox Business is talking to business people in China who are connected to that stuff and have been for a long time. And they're like, yeah, they're calling bullshit. There's no paper coming out of printers. There's no, clickety clack of keyboards of people drafting some sort of deal provision.
We'll see, John.
Do you trust that they are sincere
I
about
do.
this?
I think they want to make a deal very badly. I think that was elevated last night, very late in the night. I see an alert, or you would call it breaking news, and it was that the vice chairman, we're not talking about somebody from China at a low level, the vice chairman of China came out that he wants to see
There's a lot of vice chairmen.
a deal made. He wants it to be made under calm conditions, using the word calm. I
Yes, I feel calm. You're calm. Could you calm down?
agree with him on that. And China has taken a very hard hit over the last number of months. They've lost 3 million jobs. It'll soon be much more than 3 million jobs. Their chain is breaking. The chain is breaking up like nobody's seen before. And once that happens, it's very hard to put it back together. You understand?
No, nobody knows what he means by chain.
I think they want very
We're all just busy staring at his nunt.
much want to make a deal, and the longer they wait, the harder it is to put it back, if it can be put back at all. So I believe they want to do a deal. The tariffs have hit them very hard in a fairly short period of time. The United
Calmer than you are. Calmer than you are, dude. Jennifer. Calmer than you are.
States will have collected
Yeah, we waving the fucking gun around.
over $100 billion in tariffs. And I say it again, the media failed to acknowledge it. But if you look at the goods coming in from China, we're talking about China, not other countries. If you look at the goods, they have a power that others don't have. But that power is only good for so long. They've manipulated their currency, they've devalued their currency, and they put a lot of cash into the system. And because of that, the prices have not gone up, or if they've gone up, it's been very little, because they want to keep people working. If the prices go up, they're not going to be able to keep people working. They're not going to be able to compete. It's a brilliant market. It's a brilliant, brilliant market, the world market. A lot of markets are brilliant. And
That's right. Supermarkets are brilliant. World market, brilliant. Supermarchés in the Quebecois parts of Canada are très bon.
frankly,
Lots of markets. Farmers markets. And if I know more about markets than women, and they do all the shopping as they should, and baby stuff.
I think that China cannot, I don't know, maybe they can, maybe they can't. I don't think they can do that. And I think they're very smart. And I think President Xi is a great leader who happens to be a brilliant man, and he can't lose.
He's an idiot. Not just him. Xi Jinping. He's not a smart man. It's well known he's not a smart man. He got to the top because of cronyism and muscling people out. The cruelty of an idiot.
Lose 3 million jobs in a very short period of time, and that's going to be
3 million jobs, 1.3 billion people. He thinks they have 1.4.
magnified many times over.
Because 3 million wouldn't mean shit.
And it's going to break down the Chinese system of trade, and he can't do that. So when you say, do you think they want to? Maybe they want to, and maybe they don't, but I think they want to make a deal. I'm not sure they have a choice, and I don't say that as a threat. I don't think they have a choice. In the meantime, the United States, which has never collected 10 cents from China, will, in a fairly short period of time, be over $100 billion in tariffs.
Also, like, Obama put steel tariffs on, and they didn't stop selling steel in the U.S. market because of the tariffs. It was just too prohibitively expensive. One of the reasons why he's taking in this money is because he put the tariffs in the margin of possibility. How can I punish them without really punishing them? That's what happened. It was basically like a giant scale presidential fucking bribe. Oh, good Lord. Anyways, that was from, that was 3 years ago, pre-COVID, right before, by the way.
I like China. I just sold an apartment for $15 million to somebody from China. Am I supposed to dislike them? I own a big chunk of the Bank of America building in 1290 Avenue of the Americas that I got from China in a war. Very valuable. I love China. The biggest bank in the world is from China. You know where their United States headquarters is located? In this building, in Trump Tower. I love China. People say, oh, you don't like China. No, I love them. But their leaders are much smarter than our leaders. And we...
Again, no, they aren't. They never were. The illusion that they are is fucking absurd. And also, there's a tendency, because people are running there to make money and stuff, they're like, oh, China must be doing something right. No, they just had a lot of people, and the infrastructure already existed because we helped them to start building something. And we had a fairly decent history, all communism issues aside, post, Nanjing and us saving them from the Japanese in World War II. More so than, say, India, which was like, Britain's problem.
They've infiltrated Eric Swalwell's bedroom. Who even knows what happened in there?
Well, Dan, when a daddy spy and a mommy spy love each other very much, the daddy spy puts his USB stick in the mom. I'll draw you a picture.
They had a spy allegedly in Dianne Feinstein, U.S. Senator's office. We all know.
Yes, this. By the way, if you're going, this sounds a lot like they stopped a lot of fentanyl from coming across the border. How terrible! Yes, you want the stories where they were caught. Interestingly enough, you don't think they're targeting Republicans? You don't think so? Is there a reason why we find out about the Democrats that, by the way, Swalwell in particular, FBI said, hey, one of your bundlers, your student bundlers is a spy. They cut off all communications and she packed up and went back to China. That's what you're supposed to do.
Of course, about Hunter Biden's bank account, the CEFC, the Chinese energy conglomerate, which, by the way, was also connected to that FBI agent case who was indicted and arrested last week. So how does
Just because foreign stuff.
this all tie together with this balloon story and why?
Well, that's why I'm here, Bungholio. You're going to do it for us. You're going to wrap all of it up in a big package and put a fucking Dumbo bow on
I'm
it.
talking to you about this tonight. Here is
A Dumbo. We'll just call it that.
a likely answer. Folks, this isn't the first time they've done any of this. Spied on our congressmen, invaded our universities, stolen our intellectual property, stolen our business secrets, stolen our government secrets. I think I was even part of that GAO leak, my Secret Service file. I got an email from the government, I kid you not, when they were alleged to have
Hi, stupid. Are you supposed to say this out loud?
stolen all of the employee data from the Government Accountability Office. I was in that one too.
Oh, so they might have compromise on you from your medical files, and this you might have insisted on this graphic because it gives the illusion that the China is taking over the American flag and that spies like us. I mean, that's a subtle propaganda. Spies like us. They really like us.
I say this because it's likely not the first time they've sent a balloon over here.
Right. They did it multiple times during the Trump administration. Nobody knew or cared to know. By the way, he was golfing.
These things have probably been flying over our airspace for a long time while they
What? And why was Biden the first to shoot one down? If there's a conspiracy going on.
humiliate us. And you know why it's an issue now? And why the China balloon story is such a big deal? Because some
Because you're a grown man and you still find balloons exciting?
eagle-eyed citizen caught it. They saw it. It's just right there. They've been doing this forever. This wasn't do you get what I'm trying to get at here? The point of this is, this wasn't a message by China because they don't even feel like they need to send a message. They think we're freaking idiots.
Well, then why'd they send it so low? Why didn't they leave it up at 100,000 feet where it could serve its function and continue to float over? If they thought we're idiots, then what?
We don't protect our colleges. We don't protect our business secrets. We've got spies in Feinstein's office. We've got one of them.
There are no spies in Feinstein's office right now that we know of course. I mean, if they're really good, would we ever really know?
Doing with Swalwell. They think we're morons. They're like, yeah, screw it. Screw these
Well, they don't think everybody's morons. Some of them, if they've seen your file, they know you're a moron.
losers. Fly a balloon over their nuclear facilities. What?
Yeah, this is the take. This is the take. This is honest to fucking God. This dude wants it is asserting essentially that they flew this balloon low enough for people to see it as a way of testing, of just pushing not even testing us, pushing the United States. Instead of, maybe we're not up against the brain trust we thought we were, and that's just a reality. And that somebody in the Minister of Spy Balloons is getting the Russian oligarch treatment right now.
What are they going to do about it? They're going to let it fly over the whole country before they shoot it down over South Carolina.
Oh, so South Carolina's not part of the country? Fuck you, dude. That's not right. You know, Lindsey Graham fuck up the entire thing. But look, South Carolinians are Americans. God damn it. It was a spectacular sentence. They're going to let it fly.
Fly over the whole country before they...
They're going to let them fly over the whole country before they...
shoot it down over South Carolina.
Shoot it down over South Carolina. Apparently, I didn't know this, but the Russians have snuck over between North Carolina and Florida, and with a saw like fucking Bugs Bunny, and just just saw it, South Carolina off, and it's now the new Puerto Rico. We're swapping it out, which I'm not. I mean, it would be up to the Puerto Ricans, but it's not bad.
Folks, they've been flipping us off for a long time. This is only an issue.
And right, they've been flying these balloons over, and this is the first time we shot one down. We already did shoot it down. We shot it down. Tried to get it shot down. They waited till it was over water, and then they shot it, and then it landed in the ocean, and then they ended up collecting it. They've got it now. And the Chinese are mad. Jesus.
Issue because it's not an issue to China.
By the way, the people at Fox News Channel on their YouTube side hate his guts and don't want to see his stupid face, so they put the graphics on his side of the screen. They're doing it on purpose. It's not an accident. Bongholio, I would ask for new interns because they hate you. That's the whole thing. Burn unfiltered, filtered like a motherfucker. Hi, you're watching HAL SPARKS Mega Worldwide. Yeah, that was probably the dumbest balloon take so far. Yeah, there were a lot of them. There certainly were. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I want to bring something up. Boom, boom, boom. Where was it? I had it a second ago. Yeah, here you go. So this is
now we're joined.
Hold on. Now this is many of you know my porn name is Savage Wiener, and where I got that name from, of course, was there's a right-wing former radio guy, now micro podcaster. I'm not saying his podcast is small and no one watches, but it's technically, if you look at the stats on it, it's an innie. Anyways, there's a guy named Michael Savage, and his real name is Michael Wiener. And I said a long time ago that the one area where I do kind of agree with him is that if that was my name, I would change it too. I would just change. I would call myself Savage Wiener, and just, not to spite my family name, but to make a point. And so Michael Savage is one of these guys who thinks that because we tracked and jammed the balloon as it flew over the United States and then shot it down over saltwater and took it and are examining it, that's Biden being in the pocket of China, whereas Trump letting multiple ones fly over without even paying attention because he was too busy having chocolate cake and blabbing secrets at Mar-a-Lago or golfing, that somehow that's America first. So anyways, here you go. This is Savage Wiener's take on this is called Open Skies. Is Biden a Beijing candidate? And I would like to say for the record that I think Tiananmen Trump is great, and hashtag Tiananmen Trump works very well. It'll go very well with this little segmented video and all the other ones where we've dealt with his bullshit about China.
By Dr. Michael
Oh, dear God.
Savage, host of the Michael Savage podcast.
What's he a doctor of? I got a PhD in reading dirty books.
He's also the author of the book, Our Fight for America, The War Continues. And Dr. Savage, I want to get your reaction to Biden's response here, because we had military analysts on earlier in this show mentioning that this should have been shot down before it even got over the continental U.S. And here they are.
Right. So without knowing that it's actually a spy balloon, it could very well be a weather balloon. Before it reaches the U.S., we're going to be shooting down anything drifting our way from any country, sight unseen. Especially if it's over Canada first. And then
They are celebrating that it was shot down after it seemingly might have completed its mission over the Atlantic Ocean.
Thanks, Radek. Look, if Biden had been president when Japan attacked Pearl Harbor in 1941, we'd all be...
Oh, for fuck's sake. We'd all be speaking Japanese.
Speaking Japanese.
Right.
In addition to open borders, we now have open
For the record, I think he was vice president then, but
skies under this clown, pathological liar that he is. The man is a pathological liar.
yeah, say it again. Maybe that'll make it true.
Everyone knows the surveillance balloon should have been shot down over the Aleutian Islands.
No, they don't.
Anyone with a minimal education understands that. That's number one. Number two, it's much worse than we think.
Okay, here it is. These are the details you and I don't have. We're not. If only Bongholio, you're watching this now. Tune in. He's going to give you. He's got his reading glasses on. He's going.
When this first started, I put this up on Twitter 6 hours ago. Forgive me for
Oh well, shit. 6 hours ago. I mean, it's ancient history.
my excesses, but I tend to think in a different way than people in the news business.
Yes, even though you still have an old-fashioned news phone.
Maybe I jump to conclusions, but I'll ask the question. Is he the Manchurian candidate? He said shoot it down after it sent all the data back to Beijing?
No. He said, shoot it down as soon as it is safe to do so. And the military said, we're jamming it and we're following it. It's better if we wait until it's out over the ocean. And he said, okay. Soon as possible. Safely. That was the order.
Well, that's after the fox ate the chickens? Go and tell the people with the guns to kill the fox? I don't
Yeah, in case you have any more chickens, or you plan on having chickens in the future, I suppose, you know.
believe a word of this. This is equivalent
Oops, that's loud too. Sorry. Hold on one second.
to what Obama did, and I remember it. I wrote about it. I was on the radio at the time. I talked about it.
You're not on the radio anymore? Weird.
Remember what Obama did? We sent them the shiniest, newest drone in our arsenal, and it landed in Iran without a scratch on it like a new Buick in a showroom. Where do you think Iran became so advanced in the drone business?
These would be the drones that sound like a chainsaw when they're flying overhead and can be shot down with small arms fire. The ones that are in Ukraine right now, that literally they can destroy with rifles.
It's from our technology. So this party called the Democrat Party is a party filled with traitors from top to bottom. Perverts, criminals, and traitors. Now, I'm going to go to
You sound jealous.
the next step without getting excited because I know I'll be stepping on some toes here, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, you don't want to, now with a name like Savage. Go easy.
They don't have to shoot down drones. They don't have to have drones given to them. They don't have to have balloons over our bases. They could just read it in our military books. Look what I got in the mail.
Right. Again, this goes to that fucking Twitter thing. That, and by the way, just because you know how something works doesn't mean you can make something work. That's ask Michael Savage's penis. There was a guy on Twitter who actually posted a picture of where the active nuclear sites and the decommissioned nuclear sites were in the north central North America, northern part of the USA. And I'm like, why would you need a balloon if you can? You know they're there. You know exactly the kind of missiles. There've been news reports about the fucking things. They're telling you the truth. Now that's the other thing. Why would they spy if they have access to all this stuff? Well, here's a couple reasons. One, by the time you're reading it, it's old news. And the second reason is that there's a shit ton of these, these details in these things that they can fucking try all they want to, but they don't have the means or wherewithal to actually make them happen.
No one even knows what this is. I'm a member of the Navy League for years, and I get these books. And I look at it with a wonderment. I can't believe it. It lists every piece of military equipment that the U.S. Navy has.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It lists all the pieces of equipment that the Navy has that it is authorized to expose or authorized to divulge. Yeah, check out the on-air sign. I know it's because he used to be on radio. Again, the amount of dipshittery here. Look at this dickhead. Look at this guy. They tell you what's there. I don't even know why you'd want to take a picture. It's written. This is like a recipe for building a navy. I don't have any cumin. Fuck me.
Lists all of our bases, where they are, and how many planes and ships are in them. It shows.
Well, all the planes and ships and personnel and locations that we have oversight sessions about, oversight committee meetings about, and discuss openly. Like, how is he this fucking dumb?
Every one of our pieces of military equipment in the U.S. Navy down to pretty
Go to the chapter on flying saucers.
Good detail. It shows things that you cannot believe.
It's got a centerfold.
And
this is filth.
I got it in the mail. Strike Fighter Squadron. It shows the number of planes, where they're located. I got it in the mail.
Yeah, and they're still there since that book was written. They haven't moved at all.
Now, if I'm getting it in the mail, here's a nice.
Yeah, China's definitely got a subscription.
One, Logan, that no one's ever seen. Airborne radar systems. Here it is with pictures and quite a few details for our friends around the world. So, Logan, people are not going to believe what I'm showing them. I didn't steal this book. I got it in the mail. It was sent.
Okay, so it went over Maelstrom. It went over the Montana, North Dakota, and Wyoming because it was looking for people and shocked at how few there were. Then it went to Kansas City and Missouri just to fuck around. They noticed there are no bases marked in those areas. I mean, they have bases. They've got shit in there. You're telling me that the center of the United States has no missile silos or no bases it would want to look at that they're aware of? Is it not in the book? Is that what it is, Michael Savage? It's not in the book. And then flying over Fort Bragg, you can Google Earth Fort Bragg.
To me, because I'm a member of the Navy League. I'm sure that there are spies in America who also received this book.
Yes, and who smuggle it out of the country in their underwear. My God, this is dumb.
And here is a picture of our leadership. You're not going to believe this one, Logan. If you were an enemy of America, wouldn't you like to see who the leaders are?
It's America. They're all approved. There's websites. Jesus Christ. Our generals aren't secret. What the fuck? This is amazing. I feel like I almost owe Dan Bongholio an apology. Holy shit, this is dumb. Yeah. They can... The average citizen might not be able to check out foreign websites, but the fucking CCP sure can. What the hell?
Military leaders? Well, here they are. Here's their pictures and their names and where they live, Logan.
Yeah, is it tell like what they like sexually, their favorite drink, their the motel they're most likely to frequent where they can be snatched and duct taped and put into a compromising position? Is that a link or?
Isn't that nicely provided? And it goes all the way up to the commander-in-chief himself, Joey Biden, the commander.
Yeah, great. Anybody who gets this book can find out who the president of the United States is. Jesus Christ, burn the books. Maybe they were right. Set fire to them. Wait, hold on, shit. We must, at all cost, we must burn the fucking, hold on. We can't, at this point, yeah, we cannot risk anything. Burn that book immediately. Set fire to it. Jesus Christ. Book burning can be fun. We're saving lives right now. If we don't burn this book, the Chinese are going to know who Lloyd Austin is. They might invite him over to dinner. Holy smokes. Is there, I mean, this is impressive. This is shockingly stupid.
Commander in grief. And there's the
commander in grief. Well, I'm glad he's upsetting to you.
Genius Secretary of Defense, Lord Austin himself. I don't call him Lloyd Austin. He's Lord Austin.
That'll get him.
This is a nightmare that people should not turn away from and say it's yesterday's news. So
Well, it certainly is yesterday's news that a book you get in the mail is available to anyone on Earth.
let's remember this. It appeared over the Aleutian Islands. How did it even get that far? If it was a Russian satellite, it would have been shot down, wouldn't it?
No. Because the satellite is outside the atmosphere. We are not having space wars yet. We will be, but not yet.
Well, why did we let a Chinese satellite go over the Aleutian Islands without
Because it's not a satellite, it's a balloon.
shooting it down? And what about
Because at the time they were tracking it, didn't know if it would come this way, and they waited till it was over the actual country before they took action on it. Because if they blow it up beforehand, it kind of fucks up that meeting with Xi Jinping, I suppose.
the communist dictator of Canada? For those of you who listen to Newsmax in Canada,
Nobody listens to Newsmax in Canada. They might watch it, but
I called Falsto, not Trudeau. What did the Canadians
oh god,
do to shoot this down under Falsto, the communist up there? Now, what happened afterwards?
well, it may have been outside their range until it dropped down and was visible in the United States. That might have been the issue.
Biden shoots down balloon with missile, destroying all useful information inside.
No, he didn't shoot down the base part. They popped the balloon. Stupid. Like at this point, they just don't even care. At this point, he's just making shit up. And by the way, we don't. Hey, stupid. They have a website with with the material attached to this. Why don't we just look it up? It's got to be a 1-for-1. They probably have a diagram for it.
Inside the balloon or in the equipment in the balloon, the data in the balloon. So you
Yes, a balloon full of data. That's how we talk about your head.
can't even reverse engineer it. You can't
Reverse engineer a balloon?
capture the spy data. It's too
You can't catch too much. We destroyed it. It's all wet now. We got to put the whole thing in a bowl of rice that's the size of 3 Greyhound buses.
late. So that's why they waited. If you want to go paranoid and you want to
What are you talking about? If they shot it down over land just by popping the balloon, it would crash and be destroyed.
write a novel, you couldn't do a better job. So you
What do you mean, making up bullshit the way you are?
have a Manchurian candidate who's owned lock, stock, and barrel by the communist Chinese. They tell him, shoot it down after it passes through the United States.
Is that what they said?
It's make believe you don't know anything about it.
So the Air Force was being told not to shoot it down, and Biden said, "Wait till it's done." And the Air Force said, "Okay." I mean, it's one thing. Like, of course they hate Biden. Of course they hate Democrats. They hate in the road. But can we just be completely honest? Do these motherfuckers think the Air Force is gonna just let it slide? I guess it's moving over our nukes. Oh, it's moving over Fort Bragg. It's moving. They're getting important shit. We can see it going out, but we've got an order from the White House not to stop the data.
That doesn't fly with the American people. Even
No, it doesn't fly. That's why the president shot it down.
the morons in the media were asking questions. So they give him a new line today. Oh, I authorize shoot it down on Wednesday when it's safe. And Lord Austin says, I waited until it was over the Atlantic Ocean because I cared about the safety of the American people. Well, tell us about the southern border with gangbangers and fentanyl coming in, Lord Austin.
Well, they're stopping it. They're doing their best to stop it in the same way that they're handling this. Nothing's perfect, but they're doing a better job than Trump did. I mean, it's definitely the border's harder to control now because of the wall.
That's what you should be worried about. It's a nightmare from top to bottom. Open skies, open borders.
And other slang.
It's a nightmare that we're all living through.
Yeah, I wish I could wake up from this nightmare. But at the same time, I'm pinching myself because you look so dreamy.
And it's Biden himself who's in charge of all of this. he may be
Yep.
the Manchurian candidate, in my humble opinion. Or if it's not the Manchurian candidate, then maybe they're using these old pipes to
That's an opium pipe that he bought on a trip.
smoke the same stuff that the ancestors of those now running China used to smoke. Get it? Because somebody's smoking something.
What do you mean, get it? It's not a gag. That's just kind of a materially true thing. Also, how's the pull on that thing, dipshit? Yeah, that's yeah. There are, for everybody who thought that the GOP take on the balloon would leave some scars on the Biden administration. It's so fun. It's just so fun. It's just so stupid and fun. All right. This next one, do I have time? I'm over a little bit, but I started a moment late. Can I throw something your way? I almost have to apologize for this. Well, I'll dip into something real quick. There's no way I'll cover this whole one because this is almost 2 hours long. This video. It's from the Ben Shapiro show. And I'm not saying he has a crush, but I'm allowing for the inference thereof. I'm not implying a crush, but if you drew one on your own, I honestly wouldn't begrudge you that fact. This is right after TYT had Matt Gaetz on to give him a like, I don't know, like a softball attempt at dunking on them, and go, hey, well, maybe the guy's got some points. I don't know. Where they were like, we pushed back and we fought. Yeah, you platformed him, and you made it like he was a legit spokesperson for the right instead of the absolute scumbag he is. And again, if you wanted somebody on the right that talked about conservative ideas or even voted the same way that he did, there's dozens of people. They're not going to pull clicks like him, but then, of course, they aren't alleged to have dosed a 17-year-old girl and abducted her to Georgia to fuck her under the influence of drugs. Again, alleged. But considering his buddy just went to jail for sex trafficking and creating fake IDs for underage girls and providing them with drugs, and that was his running buddy, yeah, I'm just saying, pick your guests a little more wisely. Again, there are plenty of weird, creepy right-wing. Well, I'll give you an example. How about that lady? Why don't you have her on, or George Santos, whichever one that is? Anyways, I would like you to listen, if I may, to the opening salvo of Anna Kasparian's interview with Ben Shapiro. This is how the video opens. So this is how Ben took a piece of what she says before the opening credits, I presume, and rolls it out. This is, enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen.
For Democrats, stop focusing on scaring people about the scary right-wing candidates and offer them real solutions that you're going to fight for. I think that's the only long-lasting winning strategy for Democrats. Are they going to do it? No, because they're captured by the money.
All right, there you go. So that's, and by the way, look at the little gesture at the end. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you based Anna. That's what this is. By the way, one of the things that Democrats fight for all the time is maintaining the things that Democrats got and that Republicans want to destroy, namely Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and other programs. Everything from non-discrimination and gay marriage to what little favorable taxation elements they've gotten over the years. A myriad of stuff that Democrats themselves fight for. One of the things they fight is to keep them from being gobbled up by the next group of lunatics. As a matter of fact, that's where the majority of the fight happens, is protecting your gains already. So this idea that, well, what have you done for me lately? Well, what I've done for you lately is keep the shit that we can, and then if you keep giving ground, women are going to have no rights at all. Sorry, that was so loud. Sorry. Yeah. Oops. My bad. See, I told you about the audio thing. I blame Trump. Hold on. I blame the Chinese spy balloon. I'm going to do one thing real quick. Edit filters and turn the gain off because we don't need it now. And I'll just turn my mic back up to where it was. Beep, 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 beep. Check, 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 check. Hey, check it. What's happening, everybody? All right. Come on now. And feed this into here. Check one. Beg your pardon. Hey, check. There we go. Hopefully this is a little better. Apologies. Like, this is just garbage. Listen to that shit again. And again, this is only part of what she talked about. I'm sure she walked stuff back, contextualized things, tried to, but she did it on Ben Shapiro's show. And you're a sucker if you think that's not the game.
For Democrats, stop focusing on scaring people about the scary right-wing candidates.
Which, by the way, she's saying on Ben Shapiro's show.
And offer them real solutions that you're going to fight for.
You mean like the infrastructure bill or the CHIPS Act or a myriad of other?
I think that's the only long-lasting winning strategy for Democrats. Are they going to do it? No, because they're captured by the money.
October 2021 was the first time I met Anna Kasparian for our debate at the Pennsylvania Chamber of...
Oh my God, I can't tell whose voice is tinnier and more painful. Anyways, so here we go. Let's hop back over for a little dish of whatever the fuck is going on here. House GOP Weaponization Committee announces its first hearing, the weaponization of government, and Liz Cheney's replacement, and future George Santos drag character, because it's really weird and you can't unsee it. Harriet Hagman comes on, who, by the way, seems like a troll character. I think she's like, this is an actress, lives in in Wyoming, and just decided, I'm going to create a character called Harriet and just do it everywhere. And then she got elected.
Well, you won't hear much about this in the mainstream media, but
yeah, and what you won't hear is that Newsmax is mainstream media. It's lamestream media. That would be, most people think those are synonymous, and that one's a derogatory term for the other. It's not. There's the mainstream media, which is most of the things you see, and then there's the lamestream media, which is things that look like mainstream media but aren't.
the committee Republicans have been waiting for is ready to start their engines. The weaponization of the federal government House subcommittee is set to hold its first hearing next week, and I anticipate it'll likely be its own news cycle.
Oh yeah, it's going to be super exciting. You guys are going to run it live, I guess, huh?
Panel will examine allegations of bias at the DOJ, the intel community, and other government agencies that have been doing this. Remember, all those have worked to silence and target Republican voices. Now, the vision here is to have a church...
Well, I guess the idea is, have they?
...style panel with a mission to root out the
a panel. It's going to be a panel.
Deep state in these agencies.
Oh my God. We're going to finally see the deep state. See what they really look like. They're going to open the mask and it's Luke. And I get it. It's an allegory.
Well, the committee has not announced the focus or the witnesses for its first hearing yet, but...
I'm shocked. I would think they would be very excited and proud of who they're going to drag forward. And I mean, it's going to be amazing. It's just going to be amazing. So I don't even want to know. You know what I mean? It's like Christmas. I don't want to know. I used to want to peek when I was a kid. I don't want to peek.
Joining me now is the upgrade from Liz Cheney, the new Congresswoman from Wyoming, Congresswoman Harriet Hagman. We appreciate you being here, ma'am.
Yeah. And I do mean ma'am. Also, yikes.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So, Congresswoman, what can we expect from this hearing, and what's the first target?
Yeah, ask her. She's never been in a hearing ever before. She was just elected, and she has no fucking idea. What? Honest to God, you couldn't get somebody who actually had worked on a committee? I guess they couldn't. All right. Now that they got kicked off AT&T, nobody wants to come on Newsmax anymore.
Well, what we can expect from this committee is to expose what's been going on in the federal government, especially over the last couple of years.
Oh, you mean like the whole Matt Gaetz, MTG, Lauren Boebert, that part?
In reality, longer than that. Starting in
Yeah, probably, first day of Trump, I would guess.
2016, with what happened with President Trump related to
him getting elected? Yeah.
the Russia collusion hoax. And
yeah, it wasn't a hoax. Again, it's so funny that these assholes think they're like friends of John Wayne Gacy's, and they're like, you know what, John, they've been fucking with you long enough, so my friends and I are here with some shovels to dig up your crawl space and show them exactly that everything they've said about you is bullshit. No, guys, just have some lemonade. No, we're not afraid. Well, let us do the digging for you, man. It's all a hoax. You said so. They're just after you for the shit. That's bone.
You can talk about what happened with Anthony Fauci and the Wuhan lab and the lockdowns. There are just so many ways in which the federal government has been weaponized against the citizens of this country. And so we're going to be looking at everything from First Amendment issues. We're going to be looking at
yeah, so it's PR. Will there be any bills? Will there be a change in budget? Will there be an after action? Will they try to find some anecdotal asshole who said or did the wrong thing at the wrong time because they fucking hate Trump because they've seen the evidence against him, but they can't talk about the evidence, so they just seem like they hate him for no reason. So they drag that person out, and they're like, why do you hate Trump so much? And like, because I've seen the witness being non-responsive.
The health issues. It's going to be a broad array. I'm not sure that Jim Jordan has yet announced who the witnesses are on Thursday.
No, he just said that. He just said they haven't announced it. You were sitting right there. You had a thing in your ear and you heard. You're on the committee. So.
For the specific topics we're going to be discussing, but I can assure you that eventually we're going to be looking at the FBI.
Eventually.
The NIH, the Department of Justice, the EPA. There are a whole variety.
The DOD, the PTA, the SOS, the Office Max, everybody.
Agencies that need additional oversight.
Oh, sure. And Congresswoman, you obviously remember the domestic terrorist parents that wanted to speak out at school board meetings.
No, yeah, they're going to look into that and find out that the ones that they were looking into are ones that had threatened to murder principals and vice principals and teachers and people on the school board alongside them, and that's what the FBI is supposed to do.
I was one of those parents. I got to ask.
No, you weren't. This guy's like, no, you weren't. The FBI didn't bother you. Then you get a knock on your fucking door. What he means is I stood up at my school board meeting and said something, which I don't watch enough of this asshole. I don't doubt that he probably is the type, but I also doubt that he actually fucking did it. He just says he did. Good Lord.
You get to the bottom of some of these things where
she started there, buddy.
They've been found beyond a reasonable doubt by your committee that says you guys well exceeded your power as government. You well exceeded your constitutional authority. What happens then?
Yeah, after you guys talk about a bunch of shit and then you try to do something, what happens? Alex, I'll take fucking nothing for 600.
Well, I think that that's a very good question. And the reality is that there just absolutely has to be accountability for this. There have to be consequences.
If you find something bad, and if that consequence is in regard to policy as opposed to an individual. If
Congress holds the
also no
power of the purse. It's the most important power that we have in
Yes, they're gonna, like Ruth Buzzy, they're going to hit you with their purse. Just fap you with the ring. That's the wrong word. Sorry.
In fact, and I believe that we need to exercise it. I believe that when we expose what has been going on in these agencies, I think we need to do a house cleaning. I think that there are people who need to lose their jobs. I think that we may need to be looking at the
I agree. The two of you actually are high on my list right now.
scope and power, the scope of the power of these agencies and what needs to be reined in. The other thing that we're going to be looking at is what authorization these agencies have anyway. What a lot of people don't realize is the CDC actually has a very narrow scope of authority primarily to
all they can do is advise, which is why they advised the president, and the president had to sign off on everything. And so by digging around in the CDC and what they put forward is, oh shit. So these assholes are going to haul Fauci and Deborah Birx and other people at the CDC in front of this panel and say, what did you force Trump to do? And they're going to go, nothing. It took us 2 fucking weeks to get him to respond, but he signed off on everything. I would not diss Ruth Buzzy ever. Do that, please. Please do that. Please bring all these people forward and then go through the paperwork and try to find where the CDC filed some sort of legal thing to make Trump do something he didn't do willingly. Oh, it's going to be so good. It's so good.
To deal with diseased animals. Yet look what the CDC did to all of us during the course of the so-called pandemic. So
the so-called pandemic, and the CDC did nothing. They advised, as they do, the president of the United States, and he signed off on all of it. And then he held his big dumb signature up and went like this. Yeah.
It is important that we look at the authority of these agencies, rein them in, and I believe we need to cut their budgets.
Yeah, I mean, Congressman,
we need to cut their budgets, especially, the FBI, because they're going to eventually get around to my buck.
For a lifelong, Wyoming resident, so I realize you have not a lot of room on your shelf for some of the doublespeak that comes out of D.C.
I see. She's got the frank Southern manner of someone in a northeastern state.
Real quick, 30 seconds left. Are you guys prepared to make the recommendation to potentially defund entire agencies should you deem that it's not savable?
Yeah, they'll recommend it. And the entire rest of the party and every Democrat will go, fuck you. Piss off, Harriet. We want to keep our jobs. Are you out of your goddamn mind? The FBI are in the process of weeding out serial killers and organized crime and all kinds of shit all day, every fucking day, and you want to pull the rug out from under you? Are you fucking dumb? You think defund the police was a bad bumper sticker?
Absolutely, I am.
Well, we know you are. You're a fucking lunatic.
Okay.
I don't think that we have any choice. I think.
Yes. Well, obviously, a hammer has no choice when everything is a nail. It's just how it works.
That we have to look at our ultimate authority as to what these agencies are doing. What happened during the pandemic again? What has happened to our school boards? What has happened with the weaponization of the Department of Education and the Department of Justice?
The weaponization of the Department of Education. You mean in Florida?
Have to get this country back on track. These agencies have too much power, too much money, and they're taking away too many of our freedoms.
Yeah, we are paying people to take away our own rights. Congresswoman.
Yes, we are, and obviously it's sort of the S&M part of the Constitution. It's down below the fold, if you know what I'm saying. When you roll it up, you can read it. If you hold it up to the sun when it's in a tubular fashion, that's how I vote. Who's most likely to give me the dirty citizen treatment I deserve? Get that we're all looking for that political pegging, aren't we? Honestly, if you look at, first of all, the positive, these folks think this is going to be amazing. They think they're going to roll out, believe me, if you think the Twitter files were a fucking flop, and they were, a dud, a derp. It was a derp dud. Oh my God. Wait till these committee hearings happen. And all the Democrats are just sitting there going, yeah, I don't even know what the fuck to even ask on this thing. You guys are just all over the fucking map. I'm doodling over here because you guys, it's just you just dragging people in front so you can scream at them for no particular reason, and none of it makes any sense. Did you do the best job you could with the knowledge you had at the time? Uh-huh. Did you take an oath to the United States? Yep. Do you believe you lived up to that oath? Uh-huh. Do you plan on continuing to work to support that oath in the country? Mm-hmm. I'm done. What did you want to do? Something about the flat earth? This is going to be so fucking good. And there will be, believe me, you'll see little meme clips like Forbes does this all the time. Where is it? Let me see. The Jim. Well, Ted Cruz. They use a lot of Cruz, but it's the House. But you'll see what I mean. Destroys committee. Something like that. Yeah, here's the. This is from the Breakfast Club on. Yeah, here you go. Watch Ted Cruz destroy a biased, bumbling AG Merrick Garland. He has always been a bad guy. Biased, partisan Merrick Garland weaponized the Justice Department from the beginning to target. Okay, whatever. Garland. This is Garland clash over school board memo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I'm going to use my most masculine voice, Mr. Chairman. Let me know if the beard is too much.
For 8 years under Barack Obama, the Department of Justice was politicized and weaponized.
Citation needed.
When you came before this committee in your confirmation hearing, you promised things would be different. I asked you specifically, quote, will you commit to this committee that under your leadership, the Department of Justice will not target the political opponents of this administration? Here was your answer, quote, absolutely. It's totally inappropriate for the department to target any individual because...
Yeah, that word target is the part that's going to run you aground, dipshit. Because you're not targeting someone as a police officer or an FBI agent or anybody else if indeed it is your job to solve a crime or catch a criminal and that person turns out to be that criminal or turns out to have committed that crime. You see, that's not you targeting them. That's them putting the target on themselves.
Because of their politics or their position in a campaign.
Right. Because of their politics or position in a campaign. Right. If it's because of their actions, which are illegal, then fuck off.
That was your promise just a few months ago.
And now we see that you go after, we see you sending FBI agents to Mar-a-Lago to pick up classified documents that the president said he doesn't even have, so you must have not even gotten anything.
I'm sorry to say you have broken that promise.
Are you really?
There is a
because I think you're saying it regardless of the truth.
Difference between law and politics.
All right, let's hear it. I don't need to do this whole clip because we're just doing this for reference. The difference between law and politics. Here we go. Law and politics. Everybody, Ted Cruz, take it away. Mr. Cancun.
And General Garland, you know the difference between law and...
Well, then why are you telling him? Is it because that lady behind you doesn't seem to be paying attention, or is it just for the rest of us? You talking over his shoulder to us? That's rude.
Politics. Law is based on facts. It is impartial. It is not used as a tool of political retribution.
And politics are not and are.
This memo was not law. This memo was politics.
I'll just take your word for it since the clip doesn't include it, and sure.
On Wednesday, September 29th, the National School Board Association wrote a letter to the president asking the president to use the Department of Justice to target parents that were upset at critical race theory, that were upset at mask mandates in schools, to target them as domestic terrorists.
Oh, I see. Just anybody who's upset, target them. Is that how it was written? Yeah, this is the same shit we've heard over and over. Okay, if you're upset, if you talk loudly at a PTA meeting, nobody gives a fuck. Once you start phoning in death threats, it's a whole fucking different ballgame, dummy. That's not targeting. That is domestic terror. You are using terrorism for political purposes. You are threatening people's lives for political purposes. And you will live in the same country as them, hence domestic terrorism. Fuck off. This is so boring. It's annoying. But again, you're going to see a bunch of videos that say that. Watch them destroy this person. You're going to see a lot of stuff labeled that. And then when you click on that video and you watch it, or you watch it here with me, and I'm glad to walk you through it, because believe me, that thing is going to print some joy for us like you would not believe over here at HAL SPARKS Mega Worldwide. We are going to have it's just going to be, like just a freshly fruiting tree. Just picking these things off and putting them in my little basket of comedy. And if you watch those, there's going to be a tendency to think, oh my God, they're doing these things. Yeah, they're trying to punch their way out of a paper bag and failing. I can watch that. I can enjoy that. I can find the upside of that. And I know you can too. All right, I got to run. Love you guys. Appreciate it. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. The show worked for the most part, except for the sound volume issues, which I will remedy by next time. At least the software I was using stayed on the whole time. Next up, we'll see if we can bring in a guest. That's what crashed it when I tested it before as well. Maybe it's updates. We'll figure it out. I'm working on it. I'm working on it tonight so that Wednesday, when Philip comes on, we should be, able to have him in the way we had before, and the audio should be clean and lovely and no echoes and shit like that. So wish me luck, and you're awesome, and I will talk to you later, and thanks so much, and okay, bye. Bye.